Hallsville, located 10 minutes north of Columbia in central Missouri, is a typical rural bedroom community, one where the school is not only the largest employer, but it also serves as the centerpiece for the community. In this school, we have the same students as other schools, those who have resources for success and those who don't. It doesn't take long to see the wide differences in financial means in our district. It only takes a leisurely drive to visit one extreme to the other. And in some cases, the differences can exist almost across the street. Regardless of the financial differences, the students still have similar needs that an educator can influence. These factors include items such as mental, the ability to read, write, and compute, support, helping with college applications and associated tasks, emotional, and the ability to develop relationships and establish role models. Both new and veteran teachers should recognize the need to connect with all students and build these relationships. As Dr. James Comer suggests, no significant learning can occur without a significant relationship.
I know that teachers care if they, converse with us and talk with us a lot. It's kind of nice knowing that the teachers, really listen to you. You did really good on this test, and they, mark it on your paper.
It's important for teachers to show me to get back on track. They give me goals, how close I am to things, getting a credit done, closer to getting out of high school, get a job, be successful.
You have to know a little bit about their background, so possibly getting to know their family, their siblings, and their friends around school, who they play with, and any other interests can help as well. And then once again, just talking to them, finding the time to make a connection. Whether you're walking through the hall, and I know we're not supposed to talk, but sometimes you just need to whisper. Complimenting them, because I find that a lot of them don't get compliments. So a compliment can lead into a bigger discussion about their family, and then trying to make connections. I have a background with my family, they have a background with their family. Surely I can find someone in my family that connects to their family.
I want to revert back to the middle school because I have a lot of those that are coming back now at this time. So they'll come back and they don't even remember learning a math topic. They don't remember Coach, did we even learn math? They don't even remember that stuff. What they remember is your personality. They remember that I enjoyed coming to class. And so those things are really big to me.
It is important to help students build support systems of friends, family, and backup resources that can be accessed in times of need. This takes work. It requires trust and the buildup of rapport.
I like when people just sit there and listen, but I also have to be able to trust you. You can't just say, okay, well, I know your first name, so I trust you, because that's not how it is.
I know that there have been times where I just expected students to trust me because I'm the adult, I'm the person in charge, but it doesn't always work that way, as you well know. A lot of students are not like that, especially depending, if they've had some bad relationships at home and don't trust adults for various reasons. It's not going to be that simple. So you've got to build a rapport, and you've got to be looking for ways in.
If the teachers, start to actually know who they're dealing with, then I think things will change, and, people will actually feel comfortable opening up, even if they don't feel comfortable at home, because they know that they're coming to school, they know that people care about them here, and that they can open up here, instead of, being at home and being yelled at.
Well, if you don't try to build a relationship with the students, they're not going to listen to you, number one. And you've got to be able to build a rapport with them. And it's easier with some than it is with others, as you probably know. But you've got to find a way in with that student so that they can open up to you or trust you to some degree.
The 8 resources for success do not vary much between the poverty, middle, and wealthy classes. That said, the relationships between the classes and other items is very different. The way they look at things like possessions, money, education, and language all are important for educators to understand. A great way to get to know your students is to learn the environment from which they come. Home visits, coaching athletics, or other extracurricular activities are good ways to get to know your students outside of the classroom.
It's important to do the home visits to know these kids as individuals, where they come from, what makes them tick, and possibly that could help you in your, your lectures, your delivery, on being able to adapt to the different ways that kids learn and can thrive in the classroom. Things have changed a lot in 25 years. People have many more struggles now. In some sense, education isn't as important to people as it is to getting a job, making money, making ends meet. Somehow we have to make a connection with these kids that education is the basis for the foundation.
You see what that child lives like at home, whether good, bad, or ugly. You get to see it, and then that gives you a better perspective on them when they're in the classroom. If they have to go home and there's holes in the floor, there's holes in the wall, refrigerator ain't got much in it, I mean, maybe they're the only one taking care of their siblings most of the day. When they come to school, it's really not important to them. So sometimes you've got to understand what is going on at home and what it's like to see the importance, what that child's important things are, and school sometimes is the bottom of the list, which you can't blame them.
The worksheet isn't as big of a deal.
Worksheet, big deal. I've got to make sure when I get home, I get my little sister home and fed. So I don't like to say that I can't reach a student. I don't like that, because I feel like it's my job to reach the student. And so I'm just not using the right approach. That's all there is to it. So I have to change something about my approach to reach that student. So to say I can't reach a student, I don't believe in. I believe that I just need to find a different way.
It is very frustrating, but you don't give up. You must continue. I don't care if the student pushes your buttons. I don't care if the student calls you names or throws punches at you. You do not give up. That's just their way of explaining that there's something more that they want to tell you, but they don't know how to tell you. Also, just confirming with the student that you believe in them and that you sympathize with them and that you're listening to them. They'll come around eventually.
And while you're building relationships with your students, don't forget about the parents.
Building relationships with the parents is one of the most important things we can do as teachers, because Marzano says that their home life is the #1 factor in determining their success. If you call a parent and say, your kid's great, I love having them in class, and then 2 months later you've got to call them and tell them they're failing, you're going to have a much better chance of having a better conversation with that parent than if that's the first time they hear from you.
One should remember that the key to achievement for students from poverty is in creating relationships with them. Poverty is about relationships and entertainment, but the most significant motivator is relationships. A successful relationship occurs when emotional deposits are made to the student and emotional withdrawals are avoided and students are respected. Getting to know our students outside of the classroom and who they are as an individual and where they come from will make significant progress in the success of the student and of you, the teacher.